Hi, everybody. This is Julene with Jovi Star Astrology. Welcome back. Thanks for being patient with me this week. I got a video out at the beginning of the week, but I've been sick with a cold all week long. So didn't want to miss this new moon in Gemini. At least didn't want to miss talking to you guys about it. Honestly, personally, I could have missed the entire new moon in Gemini feeling, but I hope you guys are doing well out there. I'm going to share the chart and talk a little bit, show you where the placements are, and talk about the main players in this new moon and what might be going on for us. You know, we know a new moon is when the sun and the moon come together, and it represents a new cycle that will likely last for 2 to 4 weeks. So it's good to know what the elements and description of the new moon is so that you know what to do. Some people like to set intentions on new moons. So that's definitely something that you could work with this new moon as well. However you choose to do that. I will go over and explain to you what's going on here. So I'm going to share the chart like usual. All right, here we go. This is the new moon. Didn't want the aspect lines to be there, but they're there. So makes it a little bit more colorful. So we have the new moon down here at 26 degrees of Gemini. And we know that Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and we have Mercury sitting here in Gemini. And I talked about Mercury entering the sign of Gemini last week and how fast it was moving. And so now that we have the sun progress to the later degrees of Gemini and we've got Mercury there, I think we have gotten a taste of exactly how busy the month of June is. It's been pretty busy for me. Mercury is the mind, right? So it doesn't always have to be that you're physically busy, although for me it was, and it could be for you, but your mind is very busy. So lots of communication, lots of calls and emails, moving around. Sometimes Gemini can be a little bit scattered, constantly juggling and multitasking. So that this month could be that way for you. And then we hit this new moon, which happens tonight, June 17th, as you can see up there in the corner, Saturday at 9:36 p.m. Pacific time, and it'll occur on the 18th, just after midnight, so 12:36 a.m. for those of you on the East Coast. If you're elsewhere in the world, just adjust for your time zone. So 26 degrees of Gemini talks about, in the Sabian symbol, talks about a gypsy coming out of the forest. So, you know, gypsies are a bit of, they are a bit of a wanderer, right? They are, you know, kind of moving here, moving there, talking about lots of different things, you know, jack of all trades type of thing. Gypsies very much flit around like butterflies. I was kind of thinking about with this new moon, it's like I've been thinking, the song keeps coming into my head, gypsies, tramps, and thieves for this new moon. Not my favorite new moon, but hey, it's what we have to work with. This new moon is squaring Neptune in Pisces, which is one of the reasons why I'm not too thrilled about it. So if you guys are having a really great last couple of days, let me know. The mutable signs might find this new moon a little bit hectic and scattered and just feel like they're going in a lot of different directions. But the square to Neptune is significant. So the sun and the moon squaring Neptune can create a lot of confusion. It's almost like don't believe everything you see and none of what you hear, right? Things just may not be appearing, or we may not be perceiving things exactly out how they are. And that goes with whatever we're reading, writing, speaking about, hearing about from other people, all of those Gemini things. There may be an element of confusion and um, uncertainty, I would say. So, this new moon might have us pulling back a little bit, feeling a little bit tired. Um, it is this is also, this new moon can sort of bring our immunities down. So this is a new moon that can, we can feel like we can contract an illness or something, right? I think I talked about Pisces before, ruling things like viruses, obviously everything we can't see. And Gemini is the lungs, right? So of course, like, I'm a Gemini rising, Mercury in Gemini, haven't had a cold forever. This is the perfect storm for me to get a cold. um, so Gemini is obviously air, and Pisces is water. So it's best to keep our minds and our schedules as light as possible here. Maybe dive into things that are more spiritual, and just sort of let the fog and the confusion pass if that's what you're feeling. But this new moon kind of indicates that those might be the things that are going on. Now, it's a good moon to do some self-care and some resting and dreaming and things like that. What makes this new moon a little heavier is the square from Mercury to Saturn in Pisces, which has stationed, and station means that it has stopped in its tracks, right? It's no longer moving forward. It's not quite moving backwards. And a station planet can be pretty strong. So it is stationed to go retrograde. It's stationed yesterday on the 16th, and it will go retrograde just hours after this new moon hits. And then will start, going back and reviewing everything in the Pisces area of our chart, all things Pisces, the things we're trying to put structure around and create for ourselves, in terms of our spirituality, faith, all things Pisces. It'll go retrograde back to where it went into Pisces in March of last year. So it'll be a 4-month retrograde. But having Saturn stationed to go retrograde for this full moon just sort of adds to the fact that we might already be feeling confused and a little bit sort of in the clouds, that Saturn stationing kind of puts a damper on things. So there could be a feeling of depression. Mercury square Saturn can very much, feel like depression and lethargy. It can also sort of cloud our mind and our ability to communicate clearly. Now, the Mercury square Saturn prior to the station, for me personally, I felt a lot more clarity. And maybe felt myself taking a hard line on certain things that were happening in my life. But the station and then the retrograde squaring Mercury tends to sort of make us feel like we're moving backwards in slow motion. So if Saturn isn't already slow enough, this is like stopping dead in your tracks, and saying, yeah, no, you can't go any further. Let Saturn say, you can't go any further. You got to go back and review what's been going on. And it's difficult to do that in the sign of Pisces. So this is a bit of an interesting and potentially difficult new moon in Gemini. But there's an upside. There are some upsides here. And that is that we have all of these planets in Leo that are sextiling Mercury, which is the ruler of this new moon. So Leo puts a little bit of fire and fun into the Mercury, the ruler of the new moon. We just have to be careful that if we are in a place where we're feeling heavy and a little bit confused, and sort of like looking around thinking, what the hell, where am I? How did I get here? What am I doing? That we don't want to fall into a bit of escapism, right? And the Leo energy with the sextile to Mercury can make us feel like we want to be social and talkative, and all of that is good. And if you can do that, definitely do it. But I would say take it with a grain of salt. Don't take any unnecessary risks. Be careful. Definitely be careful driving, but also keeping things light and fun is probably the best. If you're feeling down, that could also have a tendency to sort of create a little bit of anger and a little bit too much push, because Mars is there with Leo's with Venus and Leo, which is sextiling Mercury in Gemini. So that is this new moon. This new moon is going to hit, like I said before, the mutable signs a little heavier. So Gemini, Pisces for sure, Sagittarius, and Virgo in the later degrees, but also anywhere from 7 to 11 degrees, because that's where the ruler is sitting and squaring Saturn. That again is just stationed and will go retrograde tomorrow. So hang in there, mutable signs. We should probably pick this energy up for the next 2 to 4 weeks. Some people say the new moon energy can last into 6 months. Again, if this is something you want to set intentions with, you could work with water. Pisces is really good. Water, this is writing. So working with water, that I'm tongue-tied. See? Working with water is good, relaxing, but in Gemini, writing, reading, things, journaling, things like that can be extremely helpful. Breath work too, taking breathing in, breathing out, and be very, very careful about who and what you are exposing yourself to, because again, your body can have a little bit low immunity during a new moon like this, during times like this. Now, out there in the world, wind and Gemini, water, Pisces, we could see some things like heavy winds and storms and rain and things like that. I think we are seeing some of those things. Anyway, we're talking a lot about this El Nino that's coming through. So where I'm at in Arizona, I think I'm going to stop the share here. I always forget to do that. Where I am here in Arizona, we're waiting to see if our monsoon season is going to hit. And we had a really heavy monsoon season last year, which, at my house blew down trees and things like that. So a lot of heavy rain and a lot of wind. And I know that in other parts of the country, like in Florida, there have been tornadoes and a lot of wet weather. So this new moon, this combination could cause some very windy and wet weather in the next 2 to 4 weeks, but even possibly up to the next 6 months. So, and also viruses and colds. We could see a lot of that. So there could be a lot of summer colds, but so take care of yourself, right? Rest, take care of yourself. Easy does it is probably the thing. Do the things that you already know and are familiar with. If things are a little bit too scattered for you, just the best thing to do, and what I plan to do, is sort of pare it down to the things that I'm most comfortable with. Because for the next 5 months, we are going to be reviewing all of the things we've been working on in the Pisces areas of our chart, which hasn't been easy. I know that I promised a video about Saturn in the sign of Pisces for each sign, and I will do that. Apologies, this has been kind of a week, and I haven't had much of a voice until today, but I will do that. We'll also talk more about Venus's entry into the sign of Leo and her upcoming retrograde, which should be super interesting. All right, so let me know down in the comments how you're feeling the last few days. How's this new moon going for you? I'd love to hear. If you're interested in taking a look at your birth chart, you can get a hold of me through my email or my website, which is down below in the comments. If you would please like, share, and subscribe, I would be very grateful as I grow the channel. All of that helps. Comments too. I want to grow my channel, and I was so stressed out this week because it's like, I just said I wanted to grow my channel, and here I am without a voice to do any videos this week. But hey, you know what? We do what we can. We work with what we have. All right, so easy does it, everybody. Take good care, and may the stars forever be in your favor. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.